Hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I just wanted to take a minute to talk about the recent earthquake that we had in Nevada earlier this morning. It occurred at 5 o'clock, 5:03 exactly a.m. in Nevada. The depth was 10 kilometers. People are reacting to this. Let me close my door. Noisy cars passing. People on Facebook reacted to this earthquake and said that it was like a rolling sensation. A lot of them slept through it and didn't feel anything at all. A lot of them woke up and were like, they responded to my post by saying there was an earthquake. They still didn't know. It seems like for a lot of people, this earthquake, even though it was so large, it was very subtle to a lot of people. The closest cities to the earthquake are probably Lima and Mena, Nevada. A closer, more populated city would be Tonopah. That's Tonopah. And I am not sure about property damage. I think that I do know that the highway was broken up. They closed down the Highway 95 to repair, to assess damage, and so that remains closed. Trying to think what else I have to say about it. I'm not sure if any real damage to property took place. I think everybody's okay. A lot of light fixtures swinging, and even though it was so large, it seems to be just very kind of subtle and mild to a lot of people, which is very interesting because when we had our earthquake, I'm here in Salt Lake City, and when we had our earthquake here in Salt Lake City, it was only a 5.6, but it felt like the world was ending. It was not a rolling sensation like they say that it was in Nevada, and also Idaho was kind of a rolling sensation. Here, when we had it in Salt Lake City, it was a very jackhammer like earthquake, pretty traumatizing, even though it was a 5.6, especially when you're sleeping. My story, if you guys are interested in hearing my story about the Salt Lake City earthquake that was a couple months ago, I was asleep in bed. And I, being the person I am, being so interested in seismology, I have already had an action plan of what we would do in an earthquake. So I kind of knew what was, I was asleep, and all of a sudden, just in my dreams, I felt like this shaking, and then I immediately knew that's an earthquake, and I woke up pretty fast. And we live in a very old, very old, unreinforced brick building with tall brick walls about 30 feet high. We don't even have drywall on some of the walls. Some of the walls are just brick. I'm sure there's steel reinforcement within the brick, hopefully. But our plan is to evacuate if there's ever a larger earthquake. So when I felt the earthquake, I immediately knew what was going on. I woke up and I took action to get outside. But the problem was my boyfriend, he didn't realize what was happening. I was like, Fernando, wake up, let's get out and let's go. And he just kind of stood on the bed, not stood on the bed. He was laying down, sleeping, and he just kind of stayed there, kind of like he had his hands braced on the bed. One hand was braced on the right hand side, and he was on the other side, and his eyes were wide open. He was just he wasn't sure what was going on. And he told me later on, actually, that he thought a demon was shaking the walls. Oh my gosh, so hilarious. So his interpretation of the whole situation was that it was some kind of paranormal activity. And here I am, I'm trying to get him to get up and get out. I'm telling, come on, Fernando, let's go. And he's just on the bed, kind of freaking out, doing, like, trying to realize what's going on. So, anyways, that's my story about what happened during the Salt Lake City earthquake. We finally woke up and got outside with the dogs and got in the car. And then a smaller one happened, that the power went out. Oh, so that's another thing. When we were in the bedroom trying to get out, the power went off. And so we're like trying to look for our shoes at least. Because it kind of ended after we got up. Like it didn't last long at all, maybe like 10 seconds. And so after it stopped, we were kind of like more calmed down. So we were trying to put our shoes on. And like the power went off. The power and it kind of like went off right when I turned on the light anyway. So the light was off and then I turned it on and then it immediately turned off, and it kind of scared me because I was paying attention to the earthquake and I wasn't sure, like and then like I touched the light and it went off. So I was scared about like electricity. Like it kind of scared me in some way. I don't know why, but so when I touched the light went off and it scared me. I guess because my brain is just distracted in other areas, because I've never ever experienced an earthquake ever before. It was really exciting and new for me, and pretty scary. Like now that it's something that's been in the past for me, it's interesting and exciting. But in the moment when you're experiencing, especially that type of earthquake that is like a jackhammer effect, it's really scary. And especially because of all of the stuff that was going on with Corona, it just felt like the world was ending to me. In the moment, like in that moment, of course, like once you wake up and catch your breath and everything, you kind of come to terms with what's going on. But in the moment, it was really scary. So the lights went off. The power was off for a couple hours, maybe about 4 hours. And then right before the power turned back on, we had another little aftershock, which was a 4.2, I think. And it just enough to like move the floor and let you know that there is an earthquake happening, but it just lasts for a couple seconds. So that got us going again, got us excited, but it just passed as soon as it came. It just quickly passed over. And then we've had a few aftershocks from then, and then we had 2 more bigger aftershocks actually a month after it happened, which is kind of weird because everything died down. And then we had 2 larger aftershocks, I think a day apart from each other, which were 4.2s, and those got everybody excited and anxious again. And since then it's been pretty quiet. We had a 2.6, I believe, yesterday. I felt it a little bit, but not really at all. And it's been really, really quiet. So, anyways, that's my little earthquake story. I figured I'd just throw that into the mix while I'm talking about this Nevada earthquake, because who knows, maybe you guys want to know my story. I'm so fascinated by other people's stories, honestly, and I love especially when they tell it with great detail. It just is very fascinating to me. So let me know, like, have you ever been in an earthquake? If you have, like, where was it? When was it? What did you feel? What did you experience? Are you sensitive to earthquakes? Did your animals sense it? I love all of that stuff. I love that stuff. Oh, another story before the earthquake. Okay, so Fernando, he's actually from Mexico City. And in Mexico, they have a lot of superstitions. I don't know if you're aware, but they do. They have a lot of different kind of like superstitions about different things. And it's actually a really beautiful spiritual part of their culture um, if you you no judgment, because I hope no one will judge with what I'm about to say, because like some of these superstitions I believe are real. Anyways, so and sorry I say so much. I've just decided I'm just gonna give up on trying not to say because I say it so much. I give up. So anyways, our dog howled that night before our 5.6 earthquake. Our dog was howling. We had never heard our dog howl. He's 9 years old. We've never heard him howl. And he howled that night. And with Corona going on, we actually, in the night, we were having a conversation about how safe we need to be, because we are both high risk. I have like a minor heart condition and severe asthma. My boyfriend is diabetic, so we're kind of like high risk, especially because I have severe asthma. So we were talking about that, and we were like kind of scared about it in the night. And then I promise everything that I'm saying is going to get to a storyline pretty soon. I'm sorry, I'm rambling on. Anyways, like a dog howling in Mexico could potentially mean that someone is going to die. So our dog howled, and when you heard this howl, oh my gosh, it was the saddest thing. And it was sad. It was a sad howl, like, oh, sad. So we were like, what is going on? His name is Cass. He's a 100-pound Dutch Shepherd, big dog. And we woke up and we checked him out. We made sure that he wasn't in any pain. We let him out to the bathroom. We checked his water. We checked his food bowl. We were just checking, and we're like, why is he howling? So when he came in again from the bathroom and all that, he didn't seem like anything weird was going on with the bathroom. He just went out to go pee like normal. And he had been let out like an hour before anyways. But when he came back in, he howled again. And so like my boyfriend told him, like, Cass, shut up. And I'm like, why are you telling him that? He's like, I want to hear, that's rude. And like, I want to hear what he's howling at. Like, what is he howling at? And then, my boyfriend told me the superstition of when a dog howls, it means someone's gonna die, and we were scared about Corona and all this stuff. So it was like, oh my God, are we gonna die? And anyways, he had never howled before. And then just like, this was about 3 a.m. At 7 a.m. we had the earthquake. So within like 4 hours after he was howling, we had the earthquake. So I don't know if that's a pretty big coincidence, I would say. And yeah, so that's kind of interesting that he did that. I had also been feeling vibrations in the floor, and I thought it was my blood pressure. I was like, why do I feel so jittery? Why do I feel so weird? And I kept feeling that like a month up to the earthquake. And now that the earthquake has happened, I've learned that vibration feeling is actually like seismic activity. So that's also something interesting. I don't know if you guys want to know this. So anyways, I just wanted to talk about the Nevada earthquake, and then I guess we got started into the Utah earthquake, and I shared my personal story. Hope you don't mind. Hopefully you find it interesting. Please share yours in the comment below. I love hearing about these kind of things. They're very interesting to me. And look how crazy this all is. What are these circles? I've never seen these circles before on this application. Have I? I don't think I've ever seen that. The circles. I don't know what those mean. That's kind of fascinating. I should look into that. Um, Look how wide of an area that the aftershocks are happening in. That's very interesting. .7 in Idaho. So yeah, Nevada is lit up. They're experiencing a lot of activity today. And that's my update for now. So talk to you guys later. Bye.